Hey guys, Alec with ASCNSN Studio. So in this video, I want to share my top 5 pieces of advice and tips for content creators in 2021. So this is a topic that I've been meaning to speak on for a little while now. I've definitely been not fully engaged in my own creative space, and I've been working to really focus in and worry about purely myself and not focusing on what other people are doing, not worrying about what other content is out there, what the latest and greatest trends are, but really experimenting with what I want to do as a creative. So with that, I want to get into the tips. So tip number 1 is to stop comparing yourself to other creatives and stop comparing your work to what other people are putting out there on the internet or on social media. I've definitely been guilty of seeing a really cool video and saying, hey, could I do that? Have I done that? Would I be capable of doing that? And kind of the what if conversation goes on and on. This is a really bad mindset to have because you're looking at the creative process as being a competition. If somebody does a really cool video or has a really cool concept, you're kind of telling yourself, could I one-up them? Could I make something better? And it doesn't have to be that way. There's enough content out there, there's enough brands that need work and videos that you don't have to have that mindset. It's very easy to get into this defensive state where you're really worried about what other people are doing and how that affects you. If somebody gets a deal with a new client or a new brand, you're kind of like, hey, well, does that steal from me? Is that taking food off of my plate? If you have a company, that might be your mindset. If you're an individual, you might think, I want to work with that person, but somebody else is. I'm going to now make them my enemy. And that's not really the right mindset to have. So creating that competitive atmosphere, in my opinion, really doesn't enable your full creative vision and full creative process to take place. You're so worried about what other people are doing that you aren't innovating yourself. You're not thinking, that's a great idea, and give people props for what they're doing. And hey, here's what I want to bring to the table. You're kind of so focused on, I want to come up with something better, or I want to take what someone else has done but do it better. Or you're worried about what other people will think of you when you create content. And that kind of leads me into tip number 2, which is to not really care so much about what people think of the content that you put out. I definitely have been guilty of not putting out content or not putting my face on camera more because I've been so afraid of what do other people think about who I am or what I'm doing. It's definitely tough to put yourself out on camera. I've definitely experienced that, doing different takes, putting myself out, right now in front of this camera. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I didn't have to do a couple takes of each different tip. I think that it's important to realize it's a part of the creative process that you are going to open yourself up to criticism. You're gonna criticize yourself. And the only way to get past that is to continue to put content out there, get reps in, continue to work out what you're not good at. It's something that is challenging, but in the end is super worthwhile. People are always gonna have an opinion of your work. Some people will say it's great, other people will say it's really not great. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is to focus on, are you happy with the work that you're putting out there? Because that's really all that matters. And if you're trying to fake being somebody that you're not, it's going to show, it's not going to be beneficial to you, to your audience. So really, I encourage you to put yourself out there fully and kind of look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I really want to be comfortable with just sharing my thoughts, sharing my vision. And it's tough, but listen, there are other creatives that are here to support you. And that kind of leads me into my 3rd tip, which is to surround yourself with a creative network with creative individuals. Find other artists out there, whether it be painters, musicians, anybody that really is engaging in sharing their art or sharing their creative vision with the world. When I first started out, it was basically me with this vision of I'm going to get to the end point, whatever that may be, by myself, and I can kind of just do it all, and I don't really need to incorporate or integrate other people along the process. And it's definitely difficult to release the creative control and share your vision with other people and trust other people in your vision of like, hey, here's my brand or here's who I am. Could you help me or could we collaborate on this together as opposed to just, I'm gonna do it all. So tip number 4 would be to use social media to your advantage. There's a ton of amazing platforms and social media networks, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, the list really goes on. We're really in a great place in today's society to simply be able to upload our content onto a iPhone or Android, whatever you use, and broadcast it to the world. It's really important to leverage different platforms for different people and for different content purposes. What I mean by that is people on Instagram versus YouTube, they receive content differently. Somebody who's on TikTok might only want to watch 15 or 20 seconds, whereas somebody on YouTube might want to watch 20 to 25 minutes. Somebody on Instagram might only want to look at photos. Kind of studying the social media trends, platforms, what's doing well, hashtags, search engine optimization, that really is a big factor in your content getting out and getting seen. Me recording this video, I don't know how long it's gonna be because I haven't finished it yet, but that might not do well on TikTok versus I'm uploading it with a purpose to YouTube because I know the length of the video is going to be received better on YouTube than Instagram or than TikTok. So really understanding how do I want to create content and which platform do I want to put that content out onto. So my final tip, and perhaps the most important tip of this video, if you haven't gotten anything up until this point out of this video, this is definitely the key piece, is to remain patient. The creative process takes time. In order to build up your personal identity, in order to build up your brand, if you have one, whether an individual or a company that you work for or that you've created, the odds of becoming an overnight success are very slim. Constantly putting out content, material to different social media platforms, like I said in the last tip, number 4, that's gonna be a big key to your success. I've definitely been guilty of not being patient and putting out videos and I'm like, man, this should definitely get 1,000 views, or man, this should get 500,000 views. I've seen somebody put a video out there that, and again, that type of language, you're lending yourself to the comparison game. Man, X person put out this video or Y person put out this video. My video is the same quality, it's the same stuff. You have to be patient and continue to put out your content because you never know what will be received positively, negatively. It's really up to the viewer to decide. But what you can control is the way and how you put out your content. I'm still new to putting out content on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm still experimenting and learning every single day of what works, what doesn't. I'm definitely not sitting here on a pedestal like, hey, I have 1 million views. Here's what worked for me. I'm still new to all of this stuff. So in the brief, couple of months that I've been doing this, I have kind of learned that patience is key. And if you're not patient, well, it might not be the right space for you because being a creative, especially in today's day and age when, content is received so quickly and it's on to the next thing, it's of the utmost importance. So those are just 5 tips that I've come across in 2021. I hope that they've helped you in some way. If they have, please consider giving this video a like. It really helps out the channel and it'll help spread this video to other creatives so that they can kind of see and resonate with maybe some of the ideas and concepts that I've mentioned. Definitely let me know in the comment section below if there's any pieces of advice or tips for content creation or creators in 2021 that you've come across. Love to hear that. If you are not subscribed to our Ascension YouTube page, definitely consider subscribing. We have a lot of cool content coming out within the next couple weeks and months. So I hope to see you guys around, and I will see you guys in the next video.